Okay, so basically, we are going to look at the next organelle, which is on mitochondria and also chloroplasts. Okay, um, so as you know, these two organelles are organelles that involve in converting, okay, one form of energy into another form. Okay, for example, chloroplast, it converts light energy into chemical energy, which is ATP. Okay, and then for mitochondria, it uses glucose. Okay, which is used in cellular respiration to produce ATP. Okay, which is energy currency for cell to do cellular activities. Okay. So as you can see, my notes is a bit different from yours, as my note has a bit more elaboration. So if you think that you want to jot down some information, so boleh lah. Okay. Okay, so basically it says here mitochondria are in nearly all eukaryotic cells. Okay, so all eukaryotic cells will have mitochondria, nearly all, except for example, red blood cell. Okay, so red blood cell does not have any mature red blood cell does not have any mitochondria, as it requires more space to create more space, so that more hemoglobin, okay, can be crammed into the red blood cell, as the red blood cell function to carry oxygen. Okay, so mitochondria are found in nearly all eukaryotic cell. Okay, especially the one that is really active, such as sperm cell. Okay, that requires mitochondria to generate energy that allows the sperm to be able to swim. And then you have also a pancreatic cell. Okay, pancreatic cell is also really active because it involved in the synthesis of enzyme and also hormones. Okay. So mitochondria is enclosed by two membranes. Okay, so mitochondria has two layers of membrane. So you have the smooth outer membrane and the inner membrane that is folded into cristae. So the inner membrane of the mitochondria is folded. Okay, so this, why is the inner membrane folded? This is to increase, okay, to increase the surface area, so that more enzyme, more protein can be embedded in the cristae, because this protein are involved in the synthesis of ATP. For example, if you look at, okay, if I were to draw, okay, there. Okay, so this is the outer membrane, it is smooth. Okay, and then the inner membrane, which is the cristae, is highly folded. This is basically how you draw a mitochondria. Okay, so in the inner membrane, there are many protein, okay, that are embedded. So the protein can be enzymes, it can be protein that involve in the transfer of electrons, or it can be a protein, we call it as ATP synthase, okay, which is the protein that directly produces ATP molecule. Okay, so these are the proteins, are the enzyme that involve in cellular respiration. So if the cristae is highly folded, more enzyme, more protein will present to produce more ATP molecules. So this is to increase surface area. Okay. Okay, so the inner membrane creates two compartments within the mitochondria, which is the intermembrane space. So this is the intermembrane space, okay, which is the narrow region between the inner and the outer region. Okay, so this is the intermembrane space. It plays a really vital role, okay, to concentrate hydrogen ions. Okay, so nanti masa chapter 5, chapter 5, we are going to look at specifically the role of this intermembrane space in the synthesis of ATP molecule. Okay, so and then you have the mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so which is enclosed by the inner membrane. So mitochondrial matrix also involved in the process of cellular respiration. Okay, basically cellular respiration, it has several stages. You have the first stage, you have the glycolysis. Okay, so and then you have the uh, pyruvate oxidation, and then you have the Krebs cycle, and then you have the electron transport chain. So all these, okay, will occur at different places in the mitochondria. Okay, glycolysis, it occurs in the cytoplasm actually. Okay, so nanti kalau the last part ni, which is electron transport chain, yang mengambil bahagian dalam yang melibatkan, okay, protein-protein that are embedded in the inner membrane of mitochondria. Okay, so yeah, those are the facts that we are going to look at in detail during chapter 5. Okay, says here, normally a cell has hundreds or even thousands of mitochondria. So mitochondria are abundant, okay, abundant in cells that are really active, metabolically active, such as skeletal muscle cells. So the contraction of skeletal muscle requires energy. Okay, so this energy is in the form of ATP molecule, which is produced during cellular respiration, which is occurs in the mitochondria. Okay, so sperm cell, spermatozoa, liver, okay, and also pancreatic cell. So liver is the place to store glycogen. Okay, so when your body requires glucose, so the stored glycogen in the liver will be broken down into its monomer, which is glucose, okay, to increase your blood glucose level to provide you with more energy. Okay, and then pancreatic cell is also active, as I said. The pancreas is the organ that involved in the production or the synthesis of hormones, and also um, uh, digestive enzyme. Okay, and then mitochondria are generally rod shape. Okay, so if you look at the structure of the mitochondria inside, you have many. The inside the mitochondria will have many ribosome. Okay, so the function of this ribosome is to produce enzymes. Okay, that involve in cellular respiration that occurs in the, for example, in the matrix. So in the matrix, one of the stages of cellular respiration is Krebs cycle. Okay, so Krebs cycle. So in Krebs cycle itself, it involves many enzyme, okay, to catalyze the reaction, okay, for the cellular respiration. So cellular respiration ni bukannya sesimple macam, okay, they break glucose, okay, break glucose to produce ATP. It requires a series of enzymatic reaction, okay, from glycolysis, pyruvate oxidation, Krebs cycle, etc. So all these processes, this reaction involve protein, and these proteins are produced by the enzyme, by the ribosome, okay, by the ribosome that are found in the mitochondria. So another term that you have to know is this cristae. Do not mistake with the term cisternae. Okay, so cisternae is the membrane for Golgi apparatus, kan? Is the flattened sac. Okay, flattened membranous sac of Golgi apparatus, or of rough ER. Okay, so make sure awak boleh tahu perbezaan antara cristae and cisternae. Okay, so cristae is the inner membrane of mitochondria. If the question were to ask you, okay, to label the inner membrane of mitochondria, or the cristae, you have to really point out the position of this cristae, macam saya draw tadi. Okay, so for example, if if you were macam secara ambil label lah kan, awak nak label kristal tapi your arrow, so itu point out really tepat dekat kristal tu kan. Tapi if you were to macam tak sampai pun, macam dekat situ je, jadi salah lah. Sebab apa jadi salah? This one, you are pointing in the intermembrane space. So bila soalan tu suruh label, you point out specifically the location of the structure that you want to label. In this case, is the crystal, or point out dekat crystal betul-betul. So jangan terlebih pula. Macam tu kalau bila terlebih, kan dia jadi in the mitochondrial matrix. Kan? So careful. Okay. Do not make silly mistake like that lah. Okay. So energy converting organelles, which is mitochondria, it says here some metabolic step of cellular respiration are catalyzed in the mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so the mitochondrial matrix contains DNA, ribosomes, and enzyme, which is used during during Krebs cycle in cellular respiration. Okay, Krebs cycle is one of the stage of cellular respiration that we are going to look at in detail in chapter 5. Okay, so that's why mitochondria, again I emphasize, it also contains its own DNA. Then it has its own DNA, so that the DNA can gives instruction to the ribosome to synthesize protein, which is the protein can be enzyme. Okay, and then crystal is highly folded. Okay, highly folded inner membrane present which present a large surface area for enzyme that involve in the synthesis of ATP. Enzymes that makes ATP are built into the inner membrane of mitochondria or the crystal. Dia boleh guna istilah yang mana sama je. Inner membrane is the same as the crystal. Okay. Okay, so the next organelle is the chloroplast. Okay, so the chloroplast is a member of a family of organelle called plastids. Okay, it contains green pigment, okay, called chlorophyll. Okay, so chlorophyll are embedded in the membrane of thylakoids, okay, which are found in the chloroplasts. So chlorophyll as well as enzymes and other molecules that function in photosynthesis. Again, photosynthesis involves a series of complex chemical reactions that convert light energy, carbon dioxide, and also water, okay, to produce glucose. Okay, so dia bukan macam sesimpel awak punya equation masa awak belajar sekolah kan, berapa formula C6H12 ya? 6. Okay, campur air, campur light energy. Bukan ini. Carbon dioxide. Dia produk dia yang kat belakang tu. Okay. Okay, carbon dioxide. 12 molecules of carbon dioxide kan. So dia jadi C6H12. So apa tadi? CH6. Tengoklah formula dia, saya dah tak ingat dah formula ni. Okay, so dia bukan sesimpel this equation. Okay, kejap. So photosynthesis is actually, it involves a series of many reactions, and these reactions are catalyzed by enzymes, okay, that are found in the chloroplast. So that's why chloroplast also contains ribosomes. Okay. O6. Okay. Geram saya tak dapat tadi. Okay. Okay, photosynthesis is not as simple as this equation. So it is actually involves a series of chemical reactions, okay, such as first dia ada a light reaction and then dark reaction of the Kelvin cycle, okay, until it produces the glucose molecule. So all these reactions, okay, requires enzymes, okay. So chloroplasts are found in leaves and other green organs, okay, of plant, and also in algae. So it also has double membrane, okay. Kalau macam mitochondria tu inner membrane is folded, tapi kalau chloroplast dia straight macam tu je. Cuma another system of membrane, dia ada thylakoids, okay. So these thylakoids will have membrane, and it is where the chloroplasts are embedded, okay. Sorry, the chlorophyll are embedded. So the chlorophyll are embedded in the membrane of thylakoids. So that's why in the chloroplast it has many thylakoids, okay. It has many thylakoids, as more chlorophyll will be embedded in the membrane of the thylakoid, okay. So when more chlorophyll are present, more light will be absorbed to produce more glucose, okay. So between the inner and the outer membrane, there is a narrow space, which we call it as the intermembrane space. Okay, intermembrane space. Okay, so the chloroplast structure includes membranous flattened sac, okay, which is the thylakoids, which is a membranous flattened sac stacked to form a granum. Okay, so kalau banyak granum, then we call it as grana. And then stroma is the internal fluid or fluid outside of the thylakoids. So kalau macam tadi saya draw kan, so again I emphasize, never ever try to draw this organelle in 3D. If you draw it in 3D, dia akan jadi tendensi awak akan tersalah draw lah. Macam kalau mitochondria tu tadi, awak akan ada tendensi untuk bila nak buat 3D kan, okay, nak nampak dia macam stand out the outer membrane ni, you draw another line kan. Padahal nak nampakkan dia 3D. So dia jadi salah nampak. Awak akan nampak dia ada macam 3 membrane. So dia dah jadi salah. Okay. So never ever try to draw this organelle in 3Ds. Kalau lukis handwriting lah, memang kita akan draw menggunakan tangan. Okay. Okay. So kalau macam thylakoid ni, kalau macam dalam chloroplast ni, okay, so you have the outer membrane, you have the inner membrane, okay, and then you have the thylakoids. So the thylakoids are stacked on top of each other like that, okay. So one stack of these thylakoids, we call it as granum, okay. So kalau banyak-banyak grana, so each of the granum will link to another granum, okay, through the lamella lah, kan. So this one. So the fluid here, we call it as the stroma, okay. We call it as the stroma. It is the place that will take place or will occur one of the step of photosynthesis, which is the dark reaction. Okay, dark reaction occurs in the stroma, which is the Kelvin cycle. Okay, Kelvin cycle. Tapi kalau light reaction, it involves the thylakoids. Okay, the thylakoid membrane. Okay. So semua part dalam organelle chloroplast and also mitochondria will have its own specific role in the process of cellular respiration for mitochondria and also chloroplast photosynthesis in chloroplasts. Okay. So the membranes of the chloroplast divide the chloroplast into chloroplast space into 3 compartment, okay, which is the intermembrane space. Intermembrane space dia tak terlibat directly dalam any of the stages of photosynthesis. Tapi kalau stoma ada, yang tadi saya cakap dia adalah place where the Kelvin cycle or the dark reaction occurs. Okay, so in the stroma is where the DNA of the chloroplasts are found, and then the thylakoid space. Okay, so thylakoid space is one of the crucial place that will involve, okay, to concentrate hydrogen ion, which is dia akan terlibat dalam proses yang kita namakan sebagai chemiosmosis. Okay, so itu kita akan tengok lagi detail lah masa chapter photosynthesis. Okay, so function of chloroplast. So if you look at in this diagram, okay, so nampak bila awak attempt untuk draw 3D, awak akan ada tendency untuk draw more membranes. If you draw more membranes, dah ada 4 layer kat sini, so it will be wrong lah. Okay, so please take note. Okay, so you have the thylakoid. Okay, thylakoid that stack on top of each other, which is granum. So many granum, we call it as grana, stack of thylakoids. And then stroma, okay, which is the gelatinous matrix inside the membrane. And then you have the starch grain. Okay, sebab apa? Dalam photosynthesis akan menghasilkan nanti glucose. This glucose will be stored as a starch, okay, for a while. And then you have the outer membrane, you have the inner membrane, okay, and then you have the channel connecting thylakoids. Okay, so ini yang saya dah mention already there. So function of chloroplast, obviously it is the site of photosynthesis. The grana and also the thylakoid membrane provides, okay, large surface area. This one you have to take note. Okay, so that's why you there is many, okay, there are many thylakoid, so that more membranes is available to allow more enzyme to be embedded in the membrane of thylakoid that involve in the process of photosynthesis. Sorry, that allows more surface area to allow more chlorophyll. Okay, more chlorophyll. Okay, to be embedded in the membrane of thylakoid so that more light will be absorbed. Okay, so the grana and the thylakoid membrane provide large surface area for chlorophylls to be located to trap light energy and carry out production of ATP. Okay, so kalau dalam proses photosynthesis tu nanti kita akan tengok dia juga terlibat dalam menghasilkan ATP. Okay, the light reaction, the function of the light reaction is to produce ATP, which the ATP molecule will be used, okay, during dark reaction or the Kelvin cycle to produce the sugar. Okay, so sebab tu dia ada 2 stage, light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction is to convert light energy to chemical energy in the form of ATP, and then another molecule juga which is NADPH actually. Okay, so these 2 molecule is produced during light reaction that will be used during dark reaction or the Kelvin cycle to produce the sugar molecule, the glucose, okay, which occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, so take note lah. So stroma untuk tempat untuk Kelvin cycle berlaku, thylakoid membrane untuk light reaction occurs. Okay, so next is the peroxisome. Okay, so peroxisomes are spherical in shape. Okay, specialized it is a specialized metabolic compartment. It is bounded by a single membrane, okay, but are not derived from the endomembrane system. So apa-apa organelle yang selepas daripada mitochondria, chloroplasts, peroxisomes, these are the organelle that are not part of the endomembrane system. Ingat ya, hari tu endomembrane system, it consists of the nuclear membrane, okay, the rough ER, the smooth ER, the Golgi apparatus, okay, the transport vesicles, the secretory vesicles, the lysosome, and also the vacuoles. Okay, so those are the components of the endomembrane system. Tapi kalau peroxisome, walaupun dia single membrane, it is not part of the endomembrane system. Okay, Peroxisomes will contain enzyme that remove hydrogen atom from various substrate and transfer them into oxygen to produce hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2 as a byproduct. Okay, hydrogen peroxide, which is toxic, then converted into water. Okay. So peroxisome contains enzyme that convert hydrogen peroxide to water. So this reaction have many functions. So maksudnya dalam sel ni mesti ada toxic substance. Okay. So this toxic substance will be neutralized by the peroxisome. Okay. So toxic substance will okay, dalam toxic substance tu dia akan ambil hydrogen ion, kan? Peroxisome ni akan ambil hydrogen ion daripada substance yang toxic tadi, dia transferkan kepada oksigen to produce hydrogen peroxide. Okay, tapi hydrogen peroxide ni still toxic, tapi then it will be converted into water. Okay. Peroxisome, kita tengok balik sebelum. Peroxisome contains enzyme that removes hydrogen from various substrates, okay, such as toxic substance, and transfer them into oxygen to produce hydrogen peroxide, and then convert into water. Macam itulah. Okay. So this is the peroxisome. Okay, peroxisome. Okay, so peroxisome ni it has several function. Tadi untuk neutralize toxin. Okay, and then there's for example here it says some peroxisome use oxygen to break fatty acids down into smaller molecule that can be transported to mitochondria, where they are used as fuel for cellular respiration. So selalunya cellular respiration ni dia punya fuel dia adalah glucose. Okay, but when glucose is absent in the cell, the cell will turn to fat. Okay, will turn to fat as the source of energy. Okay, so the fat will depend on the peroxisome to be transported to mitochondria. To be broken down into smaller molecule, then it goes to the mitochondria to be used as fuel for cellular respiration. So kalau sel tu dalam sel tu tak ada glucose, sel tu akan pergi kepada fatty acid. Okay, so fungsi peroxisome ni is to break down the fatty acid into smaller molecule and then goes to the mitochondria to be used as fuel for cellular respiration. Macam itulah. Okay, so peroxisome in the liver, peroxisome that are found in the liver, the function of it is to detoxify alcohol and other harmful compounds by transferring hydrogen to oxygen. Okay, this produces hydrogen peroxide, which is toxic. Okay, but the enzyme within the peroxisome will convert the hydrogen peroxide into water. Kan? So asalnya daripada toxic, the enzyme in the peroxisome ambil hydrogen daripada toxic compound, bagi ke oksigen jadi hydrogen peroxide. Another enzyme will convert that hydrogen peroxide into water. Macam itulah. Okay. So that one, if is to detoxify toxin, alcohol and other harmful compounds. Okay, tapi ada juga untuk break down fatty acid as to be used as fuel for cellular respiration. Okay. So sekejap ya. Kalau dalam nota awak, dalam nota saya ni dia tak mention. Tapi kalau dalam nota awak, the enzyme is called as catalase. Okay, catalase. Alright. Sama je lah kan. So yang lain tu sama je. Peroxisome in human liver and kidney detoxify certain toxic compounds such as alcohol by transferring hydrogen to oxygen. Okay. Okay, so another type Yang Okay, another type of peroxisome, a specialized peroxisome, if you look at in your notes, okay, not in my notes here, but in your notes, it says here, there is a specialized peroxisome, we call it as glyoxisome. Okay, glyoxisome is a specialized peroxisome, okay, that that are found in plant, okay, that are found in plant, if I'm not mistaken, that are found in seeds of plant, okay, in seeds of plant. So this glyoxisome it contains enzyme that converts stored fat into sugar. Okay, so the sugar are used by young plant as an energy source and as a component for synthesizing other compounds. Okay, biji bila awak tanam dia kat dalam tanah, okey, macam mana dia nak tumbuh besar? Sebab apa? Awak tahu tumbuhan untuk dia membesar, dia perlukan cahaya matahari untuk menghasilkan, untuk undergo photosynthesis, untuk dia menghasilkan gula kan, untuk dia as the sugar will be used for cellular respiration to produce energy, macam tu kan. Tapi kalau daripada biji yang awak tanam dalam tanah tu, macam mana dia nak besar? Sebab apa? Dia tak terima cahaya matahari dan tak boleh undergo photosynthesis. Ini fungsinya glyoxisome ni kan, yang mana dalam biji tumbuhan tu kan dia ada stored fat kan, stored fats, proteins kan. So these fats that are stored in the seed of plant will be broken down by the glyoxisome as source of energy for the young plant or the seedlings to grow. Okay, before dia betul-betul boleh carry out the process of photosynthesis, sebelum dia boleh fully develop the leaf for that plant. Okay, macam tu. Okay. So next is the cytoskeleton. Okay, so you have to know what is a cytoskeleton. Okay, cytoskeleton is a network of fibers. Okay, a network of fibers, protein fibers. Okay, extending throughout the cytoplasm. Okay, protein fibers that extend throughout the cytoplasm. Dia terdapat dalam seluruh cytoplasm tu. So jangan ingat cytoplasm ni adalah fluid macam tu je. Dia consists of network of fibers, protein fibers that has their own specific function. One of the function of the fibers is to anchor the organelles. Organelle dalam sel ni, as I've mentioned, dia bukannya terapung-apung dalam cytoplasm ni. So these organelles are anchored by these protein fibers, okay, the cytoskeleton. So the cytoskeleton organizes the cell structure and activities, anchoring many organelles. So three types of cytoskeleton. You have the microtubules. Okay, so microtubules is the thickest, okay, thickest of the three component of the cytoskeleton. And then second is the kalau dalam nota awak is the microfilaments lah kan. So turutan dalam nota awak, it is the microfilament, also called as actin filament, which is the thinnest component, yang paling nipis. Microtubule yang paling tebal, microfilament yang paling nipis, intermediate filaments in the middle range. Okay, will have diameter in the middle range. Okay, so if you look at the next diagram, okay, here. So the microtubule, the thickest, okay, the thickest component. Yeah, okay. And then you have the intermediate filaments, and then you have the actin filaments. Okay, so nampak ni, these mitochondria and this rough ER, they are anchored by the cytoskeleton. Okay, in this case by the intermediate filaments. Okay. Okay, so the actin filaments. Tadi dia cakap, okay, so the actin filament is this one. Okay, actin filaments, which is the is also don't boleh jot kat situ juga kan. It is the microfilaments actually. Okay. So you have the actin filaments, the microtubules, and also the intermediate filaments. Microfilaments. Okay, yang ni microfilaments yang A tu. Thinness. Okay. So the cytoskeleton will have several functions. Okay, role of the cytoskeleton, it gives mechanical support to the cell and maintain the cell shape. Ini selalu ditanyalah kan. So give mechanical support to the cell and maintain the cell shape, provide anchorage for many organelles and cytosolic enzyme molecules. So the enzymes that are found in the cytoplasm are also anchored by the cytoskeleton. Okay, so involve also in cell motility, movement, require the interaction of the cytoskeleton microtubules to the motor routine. Okay, cell motility lah. Pergerakan dalam sel tu sendiri juga melibatkan cytoskeleton. Okay. So for example, microtubules which is attached with motor protein, kan? So microtubules ni macam ni. So dia ada motor protein and then there's vesicle for example. So the movement of vesicle, hari tu kita tengok vesicle such as transport vesicle kan. So transport vesicle daripada Rafi R, dia nak pergi ke Golgi apparatus kan. So dia bukannya by luck dia berenang daripada Rafi R sampai ke Golgi. Dia ada landasan dia. So landasan dia adalah daripada microtubules. Okay. So the vesicles will move along the microtubules using motor proteins, and in order to move from one region to another region within the cell along the microtubules, it requires energy. Okay, it requires energy in the form of ATP. So inside cell, vesicle travel along a long track made up of microtubule skeleton. Okay, so microtubules also function in cell division. Macam mana dalam cell division pula? Okay, so kalau cell division, ni dah saya baca juga daripada nota awak juga sama je. So, kalau awak remember proses mitosis, meiosis kan? Okay, where dalam phase metaphase kan, kromosom tu dia akan align at metaphase plate. Okay, and then daripada centrioles ni kan, ada centriole kan, ingat lagi proses mitosis meiosis akan ada spindle fiber keluar. Okay, so spindle fiber ni dia akan attach dekat tengah-tengah kromosom ni. Protein kita panggil dia sebagai kinotokor lah kalau baca in detail. Okay, so this spindle fiber is actually cytoskeleton. Okay, it's actually cytoskeleton. So the function of the cytoskeleton is to separate, okay, the chromosome. So in this case, dia ada sister chromatids kan. Contohnya in this case is sister chromatid, is to separate sister chromatid to the opposite pole of the cell. Okay, so itu kalau sister chromatid lah. Kalau homologous chromosome, dia akan separate homologous chromosome. Dia tu siapa? Spindle fiber lah. The function of the spindle fiber is to separate the chromosome during cell division. Okay, so next. Okay, so here it says, ini dalam nota awak ada juga, sama je. Okay, so you have a vesicle. Contohnya, ini adalah transport vesicles from the Rafi R. So, awak kena tahu, dah tahu transport vesicle ni daripada Rafi R dia nak pergi ke Golgi apparatus sebab dalam vesicle ni dia carries protein. It carries protein. Okay, so in order to move from Rafi R to Golgi, the vesicle will move along the tubule here. Okay, the tubule. So the attachment will involve, okay, the microtubules, okay, and the dennin or motor protein here. Okay, so the motor protein will attach to the microtubules, and it also attach to the diactin complex ni. Kan yang ni. So this diactin complex will attach to the organelle, the ribosome here. Okay. So diactin complex is a type of connector molecule. It connects the organelle to the motor protein to the microtubules. Okay. So molecular motors, it says here vesicles can be transported along microtubules using motor protein that uses ATP to generate force. So it means that the movement of vesicles requires energy. So that's why any cells kan memerlukan ATP yang dihasilkan oleh cellular respiration. Okay, so this simple movement also requires energy. Okay. So the vesicles are attached to motor protein by connector molecule such as diactin complex. So the motor protein they need move the connected vesicles along the tubule. So the movement can be from, for example, tadi rapid R to Golgi, from Golgi to the plasma membrane, or back to the ER contohnya. Okay. So next slide. Okay. Okay. I'm going to use your notes lah. Dia macam tak nak elakkan kekeliruan tapi sama je. Sekejap Konten sama sebenarnya. Cuma saya macam tak nak bagi awak confused kot. Okay. Okay, so for example, okay, it says here, okay, microtubules. Okay, so the first type of cytoskeleton is microtubules. Okay, so if you look at the structure of microtubules, it is actually a hollow tubes. Okay, hollow tubes of diameter 25 nanometer. Okay, and then it is made up of protein that dalam bentuk globulin lah kan, globulin kita belajar itu ada fibrous protein, globular protein. Okay, globular protein dah bentuk globule kan, bentuk bulat-bulat macam tu. Okay. Okay. So tubulin, which is a dimer consisting of alpha tubulin and beta tubulin. So this is a dimer. Okay, a dimer. Sekejap. Okay, dimer. Yeah. Okay, a dimer. So alpha tubulin and beta tubulin. So dia akan arrange lah until it forms a hollow tube of 25 nanometer in diameter. So far dalam soalan tak pernah lah tanya, okay, gives the diameter or what is the diameter of the microtubule, tak pernah lah tanya. Cuma yang dia suka tanya the function of this cytoskeleton, which is you can write all this kan. So maintenance of cell shape, okay, compression resisting girders, involved in cell motility yang tadi kan, cell motility pergerakan vesicle from one region to another region using the microtubules as the track, okay, for the vesicle to move. Okay, and then involved in chromosome movement in cell division. Macam saya cakap tadi, the spindle fiber actually is made up of the cytoskeleton, the microtubules. Okay, and then organelle movement. Okay. Okay, so example 1, the centrosome and the centrioles function in cell division. In many cells, microtubules grow out from a centrosome near the nucleus. So the centrosome is the microtubule organizing center, okay, MTOC, microtubule organizing center. In animal cells, the centrosome has a pair of centrioles, each with nine triplets of microtubule arranged in a ring known as uh, nine times three structure. Sekejap. 9 times 3 ke? Itulah. Sekejap. Sekejap. Dia put, sebab saya terbiasa dengan istilah lain. Dalam nota awak dia put 9 times 3 structures. Another way of writing it is 9 triplets of microtubules. Okay, inilah 9 triplets. Okay, 9 triplets of microtubules or 9 times 3 structures. Sebab bila tengok kat sini, 9 the three tubules, okay, this triplet are arranged in a ring 9 kali. Okay, so ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 triplets of microtubules arranged in a ring. Macam ni. Okay, so sometimes in the question pernah keluar dia suruh awak lukis structure microtubules ni. Okay, so you have to know how to draw it. Kalau 9 times 3 ni, kalau if I were to draw it, okay, dia satu, awak tarik 9 cabang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Macam tu lah lebih kurang kan. Nanti awak draw cantik sikit. So draw 1, 2, 3 kan. 9 tubules ni. Oh, tak cantik ya. Satu, dua, tiga. Satu, dua, tiga. Satu, dua, tiga. Draw dia rapat-rapat. Yang pentingnya, sebab saya tak guna pen, guna jari ni susah nak arrangekan dia. 1, 2, 3. Kan macam tu. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 9 microtubules, 9 triplets of microtubules arranged in a ring. So nanti awak just sambungkan dia je macam tu. Kan? So dah jadilah lebih kurang. Saya ni sebab susah nak lukis dia sebab saya guna jari ni. So kalau if try to practice, awak tarik 9 cabang, kan, 9 cabang macam tu of equal size, and then just draw 3 bulatan. Okay, 3 bulatan yang kecil-kecil straight. Macam tu kan. So dah jadilah structure microtubules tu macam tu lebih kurang. Okay. So you have to know how to draw it. Ni. Okay. So tarik 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So draw bulat-bulat macam tu. Okay. Sebab pernah keluar dalam exam, dia suruh lukis, pernah keluar. Okay, so centrioles, each centriole is composed of 9 triplets of microtubules. Centrioles are usually not found in plant cells. Okay, they are found in animal cell that organize microtubules. It forms the spindle fiber actually. Okay, so sekarang dah pukul 2:56. I suppose as for you have class, you have tutorial, right?